Hey, welcome everyone to Morning Flow. My name is Mark Cormier. I'll be working with Kathy Cormier this morning, and we'll get going real soon. So grabbing whatever you need for your yoga practice, water bottle, blocks here. All right, so let's see. Let's do this. You ready, Kathy?
Mm-hmm.
Come on in. All right. How are you doing this morning, Kathy?
I'm good.
Good?
I'm a little tired.
All right. It looks a little bright this morning. I'm going to make this adjustment here. See if that helps. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah, it's just quite a bit better. So, what would you like to work on? And it's okay if there's nothing in particular.
Nothing in particular.
Nothing in particular. Well, as always, the most important teacher in any room, whether it's virtual or real, is the teacher inside yourself. So always connecting with your own innate wisdom. And I've worked with you quite a few mornings, and I know that you have you're my consummate yogi. So
Thank you.
yeah, go with it. All right, so let's bring hands on hips, feet nice and wide. Let's march it from side to side. I'm starting to wake up those feet, starting to arrive here on our yoga mats, ready for this morning's yoga practice. And then letting that marching get a little smaller, a little slower. And then staying connected through your feet, just rocking them from side to side. And then starting to dial it in as we bring it towards center, connecting with our center, grounded down through 2 feet. Now we have a choice to make here. We can either keep our stance nice and wide. We're starting to challenge your balance as you narrow your stance, and that can change throughout the practice. Tightest you would go would be big toes touch, heels slightly apart. With that internal rotation of the legs, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, we start to feel a little bit of more space in the low back. So even if you're working a wider stance, you might consider angling the toes in just a tad. From our feet, finding our legs. From our legs, finding our spine. Tall through the crown of the head. I'll allow you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. Without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin. Bringing our attention inward and starting our practice this morning, watching as our breath flows in and out. Arriving here on our yoga mats, ready for a morning flow practice. Now from this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation in, followed by a long, slow exhalation out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals, drawing the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for our spines as we move through these shapes and sequences. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, a slight constriction of the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your practice be a focus, or sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice. Always coming back to that sound and feel, the sound of which often compared to the sounds of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. Now finding the tongue loop, tip of the tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes, lifting the chin, hands by your side. Keeping it simple, Warming up arms and shoulders as we inhale the arms up and over the head. Exhaling arms down. Inhaling arms up. Exhaling arms down. One more to go here. Breathing arms up. Exhaling arms down. Adding a forward fold. Inhaling arms up. On the exhale, leading with your heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back. Hands can cap the knees. Exhaling, rounding the spine. Hands can catch the back of the shins. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, moving towards a flat back. Arms out to the side and then overhead. Inhaling. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, swan diving over. Take a breath to arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, moving towards a flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more to go here. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun salutation A, and I'll ask you to go sideways, Kathy. At home, stay just as you are. Inhaling, arms up and over the head. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, arching as we fold, and now grounding down to your hands, and either finding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa. And a typical vinyasa might be chaturanga, finding your push-up. Inhaling into up dog, and then exhaling back to down dog. Other vinyasas to consider would be finding a plank pose, holding that for a couple of breaths, and then drawing it back. And there's always the vinyasa of no vinyasa at all, just finding your down dog or any other shape that your body would like to find. And that's part of the practice. It's just sort of that process of exploration. Just seeing where your body wants to be, how are you breathing this morning. Cricks or cramps that may have crept into our structure overnight as we slept in our beds. Wherever you choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then on the exhale, grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa, your choice. However you choose to work, always breathing, always watching that breath, and always enjoying that reflection upon your breath. And that's what makes it yoga. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands, grounding down through the base of the fingers as you draw the center of the palm up towards the shoulders, drawing the energy up from the floor as if your arms were a straw. Shoulders engaged, neck relaxed, head heavy, or lengthening through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Let's do one more sun salutation A, Surya Namaskar A. We'll add a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. And then breathing out back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. Awesome. Yeah, shoulder blades back and down. Beautiful. Now feeling free to hold your down dog, or if you'd like to generate a little more heat, we call it tapas in the yoga speak. We can inhale forward to plank pose. And then on the exhale, navel to spine, lifting hips high back to down dog. Inhaling to the plank. On the exhale, drawing it back. One more time to go. We'll hold it. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. One more half breath. Breath in. And then breath out. Navel to spine as you lift the hips high. And holding your down dog for another breath or so. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. Sun Salutation B, Surya Namaskar B. Flow style, it starts with a chair, inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again and making your way back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. And I'll give you some time to do that. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes as we stretch out Achilles tendon and calf. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is. Actually, we're going to stay just right here. You're going to bring that right foot through, landing it right between the hands. We're not going to stack the hips yet. Spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead for warrior one. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, grounding down through the fingers as you spin that back heel up. Finding your low lunge, and then from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, and we're not going to do anything here. As we bring the left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. That cues more for the next sequence. And then riding your exhale back down. As you find your low lunge, no need to rush. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time, flowing with your breath, finding your morning flow. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump from. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, finding your chair pose. Stay low, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Let's do one more sun cell B. We'll throw that hip opener to the mix, in which that cue makes sense about the shoulder. Inhaling into our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the spine. Exhaling, arching as you ground down, making your way back to down dog as you will. It's really enjoying the undulations of your back, of your spine. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, stacking the hips, lifted leg straight. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip, awesome. And now looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding. Your exhale back to low lunge, take your time here. And then back to down dog, as you will. Moving deliberately, moving with intention, moving with grace through space. From down dog, when you're ready, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip, and then looking between the hands. As you bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead, inhaling. And then on the exhale, spinning the palms out, finding your low lunge, take your time, and then back to down dog, as you will. Nice. And Kathy makes this look easy, but this is not easy stuff. And just coming back to the breath. And again, really working those hands. The more we work our hands, the less our wrists have to do. And of all the things I see in the yoga room, because in this particular style we do a lot of push-ups, a lot of down dog, and people are used to having your wrist typing or on your phone all day, so sometimes the wrists start to feel a little tweaked, so we want to give those wrists a lot of support with strong, strong hands. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of the breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little bit higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding. On the inhale, finding your chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, hands by your side, neutral spine. Facing the camera, I'll invite you to bring hands to heart. Again, that light press of your thumb against your sternum, lining up each finger without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin, bringing our attention back inward, watching as our breath flows in, and watching as our breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by our side. I'll invite you to bring hands on hips as you either step or jump the feet out hip width apart. Working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. The inhale takes care of itself. As we inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, passing the hands through center, giving those wrists a little flick, and then other side, and back and forth. We're halfway done. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it on in. Sun salutation C. And again, I'll invite you to go sideways. Kathy, not at home, you stay just as you are. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Inhaling, finding length, hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, folding again, fingers can catch the back of the shins, and then grounding down through your hands and making your way back to down dog as you will. Deep, full breaths. Ghost style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is. Lifted leg straight, stacking the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands as you bring your right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side. And then overhead for our Warrior One. In Warrior One, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips. And if appropriate, Kathy, you look actually just fine here. But you might lengthen the stance a little bit. Sometimes we shorten the stance on that particular sequence. You want to make sure your legs get the stretch they deserve. With our hands on our hips, we can steer back hip front, front hip back. They're not actually going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action as we stretch out the inner thigh of that back leg. Now, 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. Trying to touch the front of the wrist as we stretch out the back of the wrist. And then maybe little wrist circles, just seeing how your wrists feel. Again, this particular style, we do a lot of push-ups, a lot of down dogs. We want to make sure our wrists stay happy. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders to relax our shoulders and square our heart's front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, elbows wide to the side, open heart, open throat, and breathing into that sense of space in 4th and 5th chakra, heart and throat chakra. And now stretching those hands high to the sky. From here, with the breath, breathing in, straightening the front leg without locking the knee as we gather up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms. And let's do this 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in. Breathing out and holding your cactus arms. The elbows move back, the hands come with, and I'll invite you to ripple those fingers. Just enjoying the stretch. Now let's bring those hands back to hips, and we'll turn Warrior One hips into Warrior Two hips. So Kathy's going to switch direction on her mat, but we want right leg front, left leg back, and that's just so you can see her face. She's going to narrow the stance just a tad. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment, as opposed to heel alignment in Warrior One. So Warrior Two is heel to arch alignment. Having said that, depending on where you are, you could always work wider. From here, finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. From the strength of your legs, finding the foundation of feeling long and tall through the torso. And then feeling length in the arms, not just from the hands stretching away, but feel like your shoulder blades are moving away from back heart and breathing into that sense of space. From here, painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, breathing in and breathing out back to Warrior Two. Inhale and exhale. We'll do 6. Inhale and exhale. That's 3. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 2. Breathing in, breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in and holding the reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib, particularly in the front lateral line. That's the obvious focus, but also feeling a sense of length on that back line as the torso stretches up and out of the pelvis. Turning our reverse warrior back into Warrior Two. Finding a rainbow warrior, a clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf. Open heart, open throat, and then taking a deep forward fold inside the front leg, either parking the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free. Tail end of the forward fold, letting everything melt down to the floor. Relaxed neck, heavy head, feeling those shoulders stretching through gravity itself, no effort, down towards the floor, almost like your torso is made out of molasses now. And your hips are a pot holding that molasses, and everything is just melting out of that pot. As we hold the shape, another 2 or 3 breaths, I'll invite you to add a little swing, a little sway, inviting any tension in the neck and shoulders to drain down through the crown of the head, into the earth. Almost like a lightning rod, the earth receives that tension. There's plenty of room for the earth to hold that tension, and we can just let it go. Now in our rainbow warrior, I'll suggest a strong tuck of the chin, stretching out the back of the neck as you bring it on up. Coming back to your warrior two. Moving towards extended side angle pose. Front leg stays bent. As we park the forearm on top of the thigh, the palm faces up. Backhand finds the hip. From your legs, the strength of your legs, we're going to do arm variations here. We're going to let that top arm just hang down towards the floor. Letting any tension in that shoulder drain down through the fingers. Now finding more space in the shoulder, you stretch the arm away from the body, so perpendicular. And then keeping that shoulder spacious as you stretch that hand towards the front of the room. Either looking down to the ground off to the side, or maybe pretending like that top hand is a hand mirror, and you can see your reflection in that mirror. So a little bit of an internal rotation of that top shoulder. And then lots of activity in that bottom hand, almost like you're holding a platter, and you don't want that platter to fall. Nice. From here, moving towards a balanced challenge if you choose. Top hand comes back to the hip. Either one big step or a series of steps in, and Kathy's going to adjust herself in the frame here. We're moving towards the half moon. So setting her base, right hand off to the right. You might even use a pair of hands to set the shape initially. Lifting that back leg. Second hand can stay down, or maybe it finds the hip. And then maybe opens up top shoulder, maybe stretches high to the sky. So that looks, in terms of where the bricks are.
Oh, it's more just that I'm on the camera.
I got you. Yeah. Kathy's the consummate yoga model here.
Really?
As she falls from space with grace. And that's the big thing, all these poses. If you fall out of it, no big deal. We're not statues. We're trees. And trees tend to wobble. Trees sway. They do all kinds of things because they're living organisms.
This tree is trying to
This
get
tree
to
is
the camera.
Don't worry too much about it.
Yeah, I know. I'm being a perfectionist. I want my arms to be straight.
Yeah, that looks
There we
great. Look at that. That's your Instagram photo for today. From the half moon, coming down with grace and control. I'll invite you to land a short stance. Back foot comes down, no big deal. Hands find the hips as you lengthen your stance. We're coming back to our warrior two. So shifting weight onto the front foot. Finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. And from here, a big windmill of the arms as we stretch out those shoulders, spinning back heel left, finding your low lunge. And then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. So we're going to do a little pitter-patter here, a paradiddle. So we're going to move towards the swan, also known as the pigeon. But we've been very right leg focused, so we're going to focus on the left leg here just to keep it a little more balanced in a less traditional way. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that top leg, opening up that hip. Now you're going to bring left knee to left wrist, keeping the knee joint closed. That's how I teach it. And then walking that right foot back as you unfurl the toes to stabilize the shape. Now finding the tips of 10 fingers, setting the shoulder blades back and down. And then just like in the sun south, leading with the heart as you walk those hands forward. And I'll suggest arms in extension as long as you can. Take your time here. Stretching out your back. And don't worry about schmutz on the mat.
It's hard.
People at home can't see it, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just focus on your body. And I'll suggest keeping the arms in extension if you can. Yeah, and try to go long, 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 long. And now letting the forehead be heavy, heavy, heavy on the mat. As we hold the shape, this is an interesting pose. You might not find optimal alignment with the hips, so feel free to make little adjustments here. Trying to find your level of comfort in the shape. And it's a hard pose. You might not ever feel super comfortable because it's a pretty intense hip stretch. And then once you find your optimal place to relax, really relax it and just let it all go. And in any shape, I find the exhale breath particularly effective in just letting everything go. And let's hold it for another couple of breaths. From the sleeping swan, slowly coming back up as you walk those hands back in. Now finding swan twist as you find a perpendicular form on the bent knee side of things. That's it yet. You'll find an outrigger hand, so the other hand goes out to the side. And then pulling back with that form as you twist any amount. It's a nice stretch to the low back. We've got one leg internally rotated, the other leg externally rotated, so we've stabilized the sacrum to some extent. So if you want to push it a little bit farther, go for it. Having said that, any tweaks or twinges, please back off. Now finding our swan twist the other way, other perpendicular form, other outrigger hand. And then take your time. Give yourself the exact right amount of traction that's right and good for you. Whatever sensation you're feeling, breathing into that sensation. Again, those exhale breaths are super, super effective just to release and relax tension. From here, coming back center, Kathy makes this next pose look easily as the swan takes flight. Again, finding the tips of 10 fingers, setting those shoulder blades back and down. And a strong, strong engagement as we draw the perineum up towards the navel up towards the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. As we hold swan twist, I'll invite you to maybe find those bird beak fingers and just working your wrists any amount, just seeing how it feels. Wiggling fingers. And I want to keep you here forever. I want that knee to stay happy. So spinning the palms out, and I'll invite you to ground down through two palms, so solid base here. From this place, tucking the back toes, lifting that bent knee. I'll invite you to give it a little shake, not too vigorous. And then very gently opening up the back of the knee as you find your down dog, and either holding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa, your choice. Take your time, find your flow. As we hold down dog shape, coming back to same breath, Samarvriti, even inhale, even exhale in every aspect, length, duration, intensity, location. And from down dog, tail end of our breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching the spine as you fold again. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll ask you to face the camera. Bringing hands to heart, this time adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin, tall through the crown, hands by our side. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. Coming back to that fire breath as we inhale, arms out to each side. On the exhale, passing the hands through center, a short, sharp exhalation out through the nose as we cross the wrists. And then finding the other cross and back and forth. We're halfway done. One more each side. And back to center, and either stepping or jumping it back in. Moving towards our second side on that standing sequence, finding your chair pose, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over, finding your down dog eventually, breathing in, finding length. Exhaling, grounding on down, and making your way on back. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. From down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, stacking the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for warrior one. Now bringing hands back to the hips, and if you've shortened the stance in any way, feeling free to go a little longer in the stance if you're already where you need to be, go there. And classically, we're working warrior one here, so the heels are aligned. Having said that, feel free to go wider. With our hands on our hips, we can steer the hips front, and we'll get there, but we want to feel that energetic action. Now, 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb, trying to touch the front of our wrists as we stretch out the back of our wrists. And then little circles, just seeing how your wrists feel. We do a lot of down dogs, we do a lot of push-ups. If you choose, you don't have to do them all, or any of them at all, but make sure your wrists stay happy. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring our heart. Now switching the clasp of the fingers and then pressing the head into those hands, elbows wide to the side, open heart, open throat. So 4 chakras, heart chakra, throat chakra. Community and communication. Heart is community, throat is communication. And we do a lot of that, most of us, in our day. So we want to have nice open, clear channels there. That's right. And then you want to be express that community, that attention to your companions in your workplace or wherever you're going today. And then from here, stretching those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, breathing in as we gather up the energy. Exhaling cactus arms as we offer it out. Breathing in and breathing out. We'll do 6. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. We got 2 more to go. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out. Now holding warrior one with cactus arms. The elbows move back. The hands come with, rippling those fingers again. Open heart, open throat. You might lift the chin a little bit. Yeah, express yourself. Nice clear tones. Simple, direct, declarative sentences.
Oh,
Awesome.
How about no sentences?
No sentences at all. Yeah, you don't always have to speak to communicate. So now we're going to bring hands back to the hips.
I'm going to make everybody happy.
And then we're going to turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips, opening them out to the side. Narrowing the stance, heel to arch alignment. Having said that, if that's too tight, feel free to go wider. And then finding one long arm. And from the strength of your legs, again, feeling long and tall through the torso. Long through the arms, not just from the hands stretching away, but feel like your shoulder blades are moving away from the spine. So you're finding more space in the upper back and breathing into that space. From here, painting rainbows. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale and exhale. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. In, breathing out. Last one here. Breathing in, finding your reverse warrior and holding, reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space between each rib. The obvious focus is this lateral front line, but also feeling a sense of length in that back line, like both sides of the torso stretching up and down to the pelvis. Reverse warrior comes back to warrior two. Now switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then taking your time as you find a forward fold inside the front leg, either parking the torso on top of the thigh or letting the torso hang free. And then from the strength of your leg, just letting the upper body totally relax. Again, you might pretend like your pelvis is a pot, and that's actually what it translates to in Latin. From that pot, your whole upper body is molasses, stretching down towards the floor, just through gravity. Adding a little swing, a little sway, facilitating that melting process. Envisioning any tension in the neck and shoulders just draining down through the crown of the head, into the earth. And the earth has lots of room for any excess tension. Just let it all go. From here, a tuck of the chin as we bring it on up. Coming back to our warrior two. Transitioning to the extended side angle pose as we park the forearm on top of the thigh, back hand finds the hip, nice. Lots of energy in that bottom hand. And then 3 steps, yeah, nice use of the hand to open up the shoulder. But now we do 3 other steps here as we let it just hang. Any tension drizzling down through those fingers. Now stretching the hand away, more space in that shoulder. And then stretching the hand forward, more space on that top lateral line in particular, but again, feeling like both sides of the torso are stretching out of that pelvis. Either looking down off to the side, or maybe pretending like that top hand is a hand mirror, and you can see your reflection in that mirror. You might rotate the shoulder just a little bit to turn the mirror towards your face. Yeah, that way. Beautiful. Not so much though. Awesome. Beautiful. Look at that. And again, whatever sensation you're feeling, just breathing into that sensation. Finding more space from the inside out. Now moving towards the balance challenge. Hand finds the hip. Either one big step or a series of steps in. Setting your base. Take your time. I'm going to give you your bricks here. And feel free to set those bricks. You might start with 2 hands. You might start with 1 hand, but take your time. Anytime we rush into a balance pose, most often rushing does not help balance. So take your time. Nervous system's calm, working with your breath, finding your foundation. Opening up top shoulder, stretching hand high. Nice. And look at that. Right in the frame. Again, that's our second Instagram today.
No, my foot's away.
It's all good. So different theories on the foot.
I mean it's out of the frame.
Oh, it's okay. Well, right now I'm looking at a flexed foot, which is exactly how Iyengar shows it in Light on Yoga. I feel a flexed foot. I don't know. I like to let my foot relax a little bit. Call me a yoga revolutionary here.
That's you.
And that's me. Now coming down easily, hand finds the hip. We're going to land that back foot lightly, short stance. Shifting the weight into the feet, no big deal. Hands find the hips as you shift weight onto the front foot to lengthen the stance. Finding your warrior two. And then from here, a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Deep full breaths. We'll come back to that paradiddle, permutation as we switch from right to left. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as we stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing right knee to right wrist. I teach knee joint stays closed. Walking the left foot back, finding more length in the shape. Now unfurling the feet. Now finding the tips of 10 fingers as we set the shoulder blades back and down. And then really take your time here, leading with the heart as you find your forward fold. So you're gonna really stretch out your back when you do this. Take your time. It's like a tractioning process here. And I'll suggest keeping the arms in extension. Yeah, go really, really long before you let everything relax. Feel the stretch. And then when you can't find any more length, you can relax into the shape. Forehead comes down to the mat. And again, this is a weird one in terms of the knee, in terms of the hips, making little micro adjustments to make sure you find some ease in the shape. And I'd even try to keep the arms more in extension, Kathy, if you can, yeah. You don't want to shorten The upper back, you want to feel lots of space in your spine. Whatever space you're starting to create, breathing into that space, working it from both sides. Inside and out. Outer form and having the inner form shift and adjust and match that outer form. Now moving towards swan twist, take your time. As you walk the hands back in, finding a perpendicular forearm on the bent knee side of things. Other hand goes out to the side. And then pulling back with that forearm as you give your low back the exact right amount of traction that's right and good for it this morning. And breathing into that traction. One more breath here. Now coming back center, finding that other perpendicular forearm, other outrigger hand, and pulling back with that forearm, giving that low back exactly what it wants and needs. Nice smile, yeah. And the smile helps any pose, whether it's a yoga pose or at the grocery store pose or behind a COVID mask pose. Keep that smile on, and it doesn't have to be artificial. Just let it come from the inside out. Now coming back center, the ultimate challenge in the swan as we fly the swan, finding the tips of 10 fingers, setting the shoulder blades, that's part of the foundation. And then a strong engagement of the core as we draw perineum up towards navel, navel up towards heart, as we float those hands out to the side and up to the sky. And then again, I'll invite you to make those little bird beaks and just working those wrists, doing whatever feels right and good for you. And I don't want to keep you here too long. So spinning the palms out, grounding down through two palms. Solid foundation. Make sure your wrists are happy. As you tuck the back toes, coming back to your three-legged dog, keeping that knee joint closed. And give it a little shake as you casually open up the back of the knee, inviting more circulation, more life force into that joint to be closed off. And then grounding down to the foot. One more opportunity today. Either holding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa, your choice. Again, wherever you choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying that reflection upon your breath. From down dog shape, I'll invite you to land the knees lightly. Sits bones back towards the heels as we find a child's pose. Nestling your belly inside your thighs. Arms in extension. Really feel that stretch in the upper back. As we hold the shape, I have a bigger belly than Kathy. So my belly meets my thighs. Hers just meets it in an energetic way. But as you breathe in, letting your belly massage your thighs, whether physically or energetically. As you breathe out, letting your thighs massage your belly. It's like your two parts of your body are giving each other a hug as we hold the shape. Great place to breathe into the back, plane of the body. Breathing into back heart, finding more space in your spine. From this place, I'll invite you to walk the hands back as you bring your feet off to one side. We're coming onto our backs for our Shavasana, either plopping straight down or finding a long, slow roll down all the way down. Laying each vertebrae down as if you're laying pearls onto a cushion. Starting from tall spine. Finding C-spine as you slowly bring it on down. And grabbing the back of the thighs if need be. No worries here. Those of you that are working the long, slow roll down, finding a full body stretch before we relax. Arms by the ears, the low back lifts. And then sweeping hands by your sides as you widen your thighs. Scooting the head back, flattening the shoulders, giving all parts of your body lots of permission to breathe. Tip of the tongue now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. We won't be here too long. Hello. At home, feeling free to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. For the purposes of this session, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. Moving your mind before you move your body. Bring your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and watching as it flows out. Like watching a river as a river flows by. Now shaping your breath, moving away from that same breath, that Samarviti, as we find a long, slow inhalation, followed by a longer, slower exhalation. Finding a more relaxing breath with longer, slower exhales. Now inviting more prana, more life force into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Now inviting that prana in towards center as we gently circle our wrists and our ankles. Adding a little shimmer of the shoulders, a little shimmer of the hips. Connecting with your own innate sense as to what feels right and good for you, right here, right now. Now pressing your back into the mat to support the action of the legs. As we draw one knee into the heart, the other knee follows. Hands catch the shins. And then using your thighs to massage your belly as you gently lift and lower the low back and hips. Front to back, side to side, little circles. Again, whatever feels right and good for you. Now reaching back with the hand, keeping the neck relaxed as you lift and tuck the chin. Chin stays tucked, the hand comes back to the shin. And then starting to rock yourself front to back, either keeping the hands on the front of the shins or catching the back of the thighs, massaging our spine. And then a little momentum, a little core engagement as we pop on up to find a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, hands cap the knees, pulling back with the hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Without shortening the neck, a slight tuck of the chin as hands find the heart. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in, and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow, thanking yourself for practicing yoga, and offering our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us. Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you.
And as always, I love the way Namaste sounds. Just like have a nice day. And we'll see you all real soon. Thank you so much.
Namaste.